Hi guys, welcome back to the Entrepreneur's Narrative. I am Atu,
And I'm Michelle.
and we are co-owners, the co-founders of a web development agency based in Cape Town. So, environment is a bit
It's different.
different, a bit more informal.
Yeah, we're on a break.
and
We literally on a break.
and there's a reason for that. I guess
Yeah.
twofold reason for that. Number one, yesterday was our 4-year
Marriage.
anniversary.
Wedding.
So, yeah.
We say wedding.
Do we say
Yes,
wedding?
Yeah.
Whatever. We've been married for 4 years. Well done, Michelle.
Why are you saying well done to me?
You've kept up. I appreciate the service.
You're so ridiculous. Stop.
Second reason. That being said as well, we are back at a client's Airbnb or
So she was actually one of our first clients.
Yeah,
Her name
yeah.
is Lou Marie. She owns let's call this like a
It's like a boutique.
boutique Airbnb. It's called La Heritage, and she actually offered for us to stay for free, which we were
Yeah.
like, thank you.
Yeah, we were like, let's pick
We
these
need
specific
it.
dates.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we picked our wedding anniversary.
Yes. Which is a good pick.
also-
Except the weather is
And the fact that
horrible.
we are working, don't follow that example. Live through it. But
Yeah.
we actually have 2 wedding anniversaries, so that's why.
We didn't really celebrate the first one, but
Yeah, but we have 2 chances to do it,
yes.
so yeah.
Yeah.
Don't
Okay.
follow, yeah.
Yeah.
So that's why we're here. We're
second
really
reason.
grateful.
Second, yeah, that's fantastic. Second reason is we are now launching a new product. Let's call it a new product on our end, and we can sort of talk through.
Yeah, I would have to actually
Sort of why we're
explain
doing
how
that.
we came about that, yeah.
Okay, so I'll keep this as a what you call it. So suspense until we get to what the product actually
Yeah.
is. So when we got married,
Yeah.
I think we were sort of at the beginning phase of me looking into web design.
Yeah. So I had left the family business and I was like, should I start my own thing? Should I? And then Atu was like, yeah, I think you should. And I was like, yeah. And then this was around that time. Yeah.
Okay, so that's a timestamp. Around that time, I was playing around with experimenting with websites. We
Yeah.
had started building our own little blog thing.
You say little, but that thing is not little. It's
It
actually
did balloon.
huge. But
It
yeah.
ballooned into something big
Let's
that
call
we
it
haven't
little.
touched. But yeah, I was experimenting with building websites and making them a bit more dynamic than what we had seen
usually
out there.
see, yeah. So it's actually a really cool blog
Yeah,
Yeah.
which we haven't looked at that
in a long time.
months,
Yeah.
maybe years even. So we're sort of prepping for wedding stuff. So we were looking into how we would do invitations,
Yeah.
how we would confirm people who are coming,
Yeah, the easiest way. Yes. Yeah.
their dietary preferences, all that good stuff. And to us, what made the most,
Navigation.
yeah.
Just rounding everyone up in one space to do with our wedding, actually. Yeah.
Yeah.
And at that time, we didn't even know other companies were doing these I wedding.
Oh yeah, true. Yes, we didn't
Invites.
look into that.
Yeah, and we wouldn't have used it anyway. It's
yeah.
too generic.
Yes.
Yeah.
I guess you can probably see where this is going already. But anyway, so we started.
You created.
Okay.
Sorry.
I created a website because that made the most sense for us.
Yeah.
It could be one platform that we use to capture who's coming. We could also control who we're inviting and who could actually RSVP. So we created a website that was our wedding invitation. And for that, we also did a
Yeah,
fun
it
wedding
was cool.
shoot,
We did a whole
video
shoot. We
thing.
did a video. Yeah, and then all we
Yeah.
had to do was send that link to our
Exactly,
friends and
yeah.
family. And it wasn't. The thing is, what I liked is it wasn't something simple like a Canva save the date because we did that as well. And then I think we created the website. So
Yeah.
the save the date was like a precursor to the website. It wasn't simple where you send the save the date and then somebody's still going to be asking you, where is it? How do I get there? What time? And all of that. The link just provided everything.
Yeah.
And it was one of the first websites that we made.
Yeah, it
So,
was. It was. It was.
yeah.
It was part of the experiment because we built it as a subdomain to our actual
Blog.
experiment.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that was like another personal touch that we added to our like wedding thing. So it felt a lot more personal.
Yeah.
And I think it was more because I'd built it and not necessarily because I guess anyone can make anything and say, you know what, I designed this on Canva, you know. But it felt a lot more personal because I
Yeah.
spent some time doing
Yeah,
it.
it was a rough. I remember it was rough
Yeah, and also shooting
because you were still learning, and the video.
the video
yeah.
was fun. I enjoyed that as well.
Yes, I did, but it was stressful.
Except
I
the
had
stress.
we had several outfit
Yeah.
changes for it. Was a bit extra, but
Yeah.
but then we thought, okay, it's our wedding. Why not? We're never going to do this again,
Yeah.
literally.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. I
That's what we did.
participate in a lot of like cringe things, so you should appreciate me.
what?
You should appreciate me.
Stop. Okay.
Okay.
So what we're saying is, we thought we are not. How did we say how many years? I think we did.
We did.
Yes. So we thought this is almost kind of like, the beginning of the business, coming back to the heritage, wedding invitation, the next phase of our business. We thought, why not create this into
Yeah.
a service and like give people the same amount of joy, or like, because we loved our invitation,
We did.
and that's what we want to create for other people. So that's what that's the new service.
Yeah, so that's the new service. In a nutshell, we have built a platform where we have templates that we're going to be adding as time goes on, which are somewhat differentiated from what is currently offered out there.
They look much nicer.
Yeah, so since the beginning of this business, we have tried to steer clear of generic looking things, generic looking websites. Now we are heading in the direction of like completely going with like almost unconventional, as far from generic as possible looking wedding invitations.
Wedding invitations.
Yeah, which would allow, currently it allows clients.
Before you even get into that, the reason why we're doing this podcast is because this journey has not been linear. It's actually been a bit of a mess.
Yeah.
That's why we're here to talk about it, actually, because it's been like a lot more than,
So do you want to start with how
Okay,
we
I'll
initially
start.
envisioned it?
Yeah, so this is how I initially envisioned it. I was like, do you know what? We can create little templates, put them on Etsy. Somebody buys a template, they populate the website themselves. But that would require them to have some knowledge of web design or WordPress or whatever. That's what I wanted. So in my mind, this thing was not supposed to take more than a month.
Mm-hmm.
Technically, you built our wedding one in a day, right?
Something like that,
yes.
yeah.
So this thing was not supposed to take more than a month. So I gave that to you and James, and I said, that's what I want. This is what we're going to do. And then
5 months later.
5 months later, we're still going this thing. Well, but Atu, you can explain why
Great. So it sort of went from a simple, okay, so number one, I think our communication with regards to what is like the general scope, what is required of this.
No, I was
this
very
thing.
clear. I think you decided.
You were clear. I did not communicate on my end that I wanted to have this be something that is a lot easier for us to work with, number one. In a way
that was my worry as well.
We don't have to provide endless support to people who are building. And also make it easier for the users to do what they needed to do.
Yeah.
So it went from someone's buying something on Etsy and they're doing everything themselves. To yes, they're doing everything themselves, but it's a whole lot simpler.
Yeah, it's much simpler.
Yeah.
So essentially, Atu is not saying, but he ended up creating a platform now. So that's where we are. We have a quasi software developer now because this guy is creating. He's creating a platform. So it spiraled into that. And what I thought would take a month and hit the shops in a month, and then Steve and I would start marketing this thing. 5 months later, yes, we did take a break in December because that's what we do. But 5,
So let's call it 4 months.
so
then.
4 months later, we are still busy
Yeah.
designing this thing. But it's pretty much done now. We're just solving the last
Yeah.
couple of bugs. Yeah. So yeah, we didn't. It's been a lot. Honestly, my patience has been tested
Yeah.
a lot.
I've noticed.
Yeah. Can we talk about why it's taken so much longer? Because I think if you didn't have a full-time job, if we weren't under-resourced,
Yeah. Yeah.
this thing would take, yes,
Yeah.
like 3 months maybe. 3 months to it being fully finished, ready to launch. Yeah. Yeah. So
Yes.
what was the...
I'd say, like, obviously, primary reason is I haven't had as much time to spend on this thing as I would like.
Yeah, you've had almost no time actually.
Yeah. So I'm obviously doing my full-time gig. I'm working full-time essentially. So I only have after hours to work on anything I need to work on. And in and amongst that is like a whole million and one other things that take up that time. So if it's not gym,
Yes,
then it's
like we try to live life as well because
Yeah,
you can't
yeah, yeah,
work all
yeah,
the
yeah.
time.
so if it's not if it's not gym,
It's been
then
rough.
then it's like other meetings that are unavoidable.
We also had other projects.
Yeah, other
So
projects that
much
need
is going
attention.
on, yeah.
And also other things that are not web design related that I also have to spend time on, which are
Yes,
business related
yes,
as well.
yeah.
So
You had
I think
almost
that's the primary
biggest,
reason.
yeah.
Secondary reason is we have an intern who I guess is not in my head, and I'm also struggling to communicate exactly what I need to have done from a full-on back-end system integration perspective, which is I think it's more higher level to do for
somebody who's still learning.
Yeah.
So I think, yeah, make that clear because I don't think you're saying it how it should come across. We have Atu is the one web developer, and then James is the other web developer, and Atu has to be teaching because that was what we wanted, is somebody who's very willing to learn
Yeah,
and
yeah.
grow and stuff. Yes, so that's what we have, and you have to teach him a few things, and that's what you've been doing. So yeah. However, and I don't know if I want to get it. It's fine. Let's not get into it.
Get into it.
I feel like Atu is not utilizing his resources
No,
at
okay,
100%.
let's
But-
explain
And
this.
that's why I said I don't want to get into
Yeah,
it.
okay. In brief, let me say, we'd both be learning, number one.
That's actually also true. Yes,
Yes.
he's not the only one learning.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I can't teach someone as I'm learning,
Yes.
which is
okay.
a difficulty on its own.
Yeah.
It's also not simply web design, which is not something I can add to his plate
Yeah.
if he's still learning other things.
Yeah.
So, yeah, while he's learning the fundamentals, I can't now be like, hey, now let's apply like full-on workflow logic to A, B, and C.
That's very true.
So it's been difficult.
Yeah,
and-
this season of us
Yeah.
has really tested our marriage and
Okay.
not like breakup. I mean, like we're learning the next phase of working together as a couple, even that. Yeah, where now I'm the one who's like running the company, and I go to it and I'm like, just get it done.
Yeah.
Just get it done, okay?
That's
you
also
know,
another problem.
it's another-
When people oversimplify the
Yeah.
work that needs to be done.
See,
without
now we have to deal with that
understanding.
as a marriage.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But anyway, that's that. So that's sort of why it ballooned from something that was supposed to take a month. I
Yeah,
think
it's a platform now.
we had done that portion in that month, and then I was like, yeah, but this is clunky, and this can be refined, and we're still gonna make some more refinements going forward.
Yes.
But
yeah. I'm really excited about those. Yeah.
yeah, but it went from this is just a basic thing, get that out there, to we can probably use the same logic to, go in a different direction with other like potential products. And we've sort of built um, the logic or the workflow logic into like, yeah, we can expand this.
Oh yeah,
beyond-
so
beyond
that's
what
the
we're currently
exciting
doing.
thing. So one thing that I liked about the process, number one, yes, my patience has been tested a lot. Like I'm not gonna lie about that. It's you're laughing, but it it's been tested a
I'm
lot.
laughing because I've been annoyed.
Yeah, exactly. So from my end, I'm seeing a 4-month delay, but I should actually be seeing it as 4 months of perfecting something that can be very good, can help a lot of people, that people will love to use. I should see, so that's what I've decided now. I had a
Took
meeting.
you 4 months, eh?
Yeah, because I was just like, it
Gotcha.
needs to be out. We need to start making
Yeah.
money. We're spending too much time on it.
Yeah.
So I had a meeting with Steve because we were figuring out how we're going to market this thing. And then he was like, it can't go out before. We can't have a market with like an MKBHD issue.
Yeah.
We can't deal with that
Yeah.
because that kills the product before it's even, yeah. So then I just decided, you know what, I'll calm down. I told God this thing will be out when it's out, when you're ready for it to be out. And luckily we are at the end stages of this thing. Yeah, so it tested my patience, but also what I liked is also the thing of I had a very small vision of what this thing could be, and you built something that literally is shifting our business into a different direction, which I absolutely am ecstatic about, you know. Yeah, Pat, of course. Yeah, and we are all very like excited about it. You know, because of our background and because we come from this continent, we know that we can't just build a generic template.
Yeah.
Because we have so many different cultures
That is
in
true.
Africa.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that we're thinking about things like that, you know. You know, if you have like Lobola or
It should not be
or
part of this thing.
Hey,
But like, yeah. The
if you
point
have
is,
Lobola, if you have a Rasho, if you have like what did we do? Our engagement ceremony.
Yeah.
If you have those, we're thinking about things like that to put into the invitation. So it's not just this stale thing that kind of mixes everyone's culture into something
yeah,
that it's not.
and it's always like
working.
Western
Yeah.
focused.
Yeah, we're not building something like that.
Yeah.
So yeah, so that's what I liked about it. It's like also just the team dynamic. We had to like everybody is working. All of us, we are a small team, so we resource thin. All of us had to be working
Yeah.
on this. You know, the idea generation. Just like the as much as it feels like to me like things aren't moving. We need to like, why is this thing not coming out? When it's done, there's so much room for growth and for the
Yeah.
future that I've just
Definitely.
decided it's okay. Think about 5-10 years from now if this goes well. Yeah, so that's what I really liked about it. How do you think, because it's seriously been rough, these last couple of months have just been work all the time. It's our anniversary and we are working. How have we dealt with it? Oh no, we've dealt with it. We have a production break next week. Sorry.
That's not dealing with it.
It's dealing with it for
That
me.
is parking. The work doesn't go away.
I need a break.
Yeah. The work doesn't go
I
away.
need a break.
When you get back, you
Yeah.
have to get back to it.
Yeah.
You're gonna have catching up to do.
But rest is important.
No,
That
of
is
course,
part
no,
of it.
for sure. We don't want to burn out, especially at the beginning of the year. It's probably the worst thing to do to
It
yourself.
is, yeah,
And the year is so much
This
longer.
year, I think we had a meeting once and Steve said this year has been long.
Yeah, it's been
It's March.
it's March. It feels like it's flown, but it also
Yeah.
feels like we did not actually have a December break. It feels like we had a weekend.
Yeah, and
Then
then
we're back to
we
work
were
again.
right back to work.
Yeah.
So
But it is what it is.
it must all pay off.
It
please.
really needs to.
Yeah. So I mean, how we've dealt with it, we've now, I don't know. Like, should we talk about the lessons that we've learned?
Yeah, I think so.
It's a good thing.
Yeah.
Yes. So for me, the first lesson I've learned is, if we're not understanding the scope, really, I did this to myself. Well, technically not. Atu decided to run with it in a different direction, and I'm really
Yeah.
happy that you did, because that's how we all chip in. And but the lesson that I've learned from that, for me, is yes, you could be leading something, and I know there's people like you can't be in charge of everything. I know delegation and people will do it better, but this was a really good example of, Michelle, you're just not good at this, and somebody is better than you, and they've thought about a better thing, better idea. And in this case, even if it's just like enhancing the idea, even.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think that was the first lesson, and to learn to just
But
go
also,
with
just
that
to
and
just
bloom.
to just to add on to that, the idea was not something that was in my head. I think just like generally as an engineer, you just
Yes,
try and make things
exactly.
like
You are
slightly
just
more
better
efficient.
at it than I am. Yeah.
No, but this wasn't like the full scope of like I have this idea in
Oh,
my
of
head
course,
based on
yeah.
what you said. It was just okay, make this efficient. How do you make this efficient?
Yeah.
Then you do this.
Yeah.
Then you just move on to the next phase. Then
That's
it just
fine.
it just
I didn't do
snowballs
that.
into
You know what I'm saying? So
yeah, that's fair though.
yes, and different team members contributed different things to the project. The first template was designed by James, you know, which I thought was a very nice template. I was like, yeah, let's put this up already. And then you were like, no, we can tweak it, we can
Yeah.
make it better. And then we got like the one that we have now, which is also very nice. And then Steve did the blind test, and he was like, this is a mess.
Yeah.
We need to sort this out.
Yeah.
Which I really appreciate, because we were doing the test knowing how the system works, but he came in blind and he was like, what is going on? So I've learned like the working together with very little resources has to be done, because I'm the type of person that I don't want to make people do work that's not in their job description, but sometimes you have to. I've learned that sometimes something is taking longer because it just has to. I need to remember that we are at the point now we're building a platform, and
Yeah.
you just have to. And if you resonate with this, if you've tried to launch something and it's taken longer, please put it in the comments, because I think a lot of us we want things done, and then because that was me. I just wanted this thing out. You know, I have obligations to fulfill and things, but that's not going to help in the future, because like I said, we don't want to launch something like the Humane AI pen where people
Yeah.
the company is being liquidated now because they released a product before it was ready for the market. And also they
Can
released
never
a product,
be ready for the
it will
market.
never, they released a product that didn't work with the market. That was another thing that we had to think about. That's why we're thinking about different cultures. Another thing is maybe we need better project management, and I think it's okay to admit that. I just think we need better
Yeah.
project management.
Yeah.
We really do. Yeah. Okay.
We need to be able
Thank
to
you.
properly, like Michelle said, we need to be able to properly scope what this project is that we're working on.
Yeah, that's something you
And
do differently.
that-
You
yeah.
did say that.
And
I would
that-
say that, yes.
And then that would obviously feed into your timelines and how much effort is going to be required from each team member, all that good stuff.
Yeah.
That's what we didn't do this time.
Yeah, we
But
didn't,
then
because
this
I was like, this just needs to go out, and then there was no project management.
Yeah,
And,
yeah. But in all fairness, this was a project that snowballed into what it is. It didn't. Initially, I think we were in agreement about what this was supposed to be, and yeah, things just happen this way. So I don't think there's an overarching crisis that we need to resolve. Maybe in future we need to think about projects a little
we
more
need to
holistically.
think about resources. When you only have this many resources and you're doing something that needs this many, you need to think about how you're managing. I'm not saying you, I'm saying me in general, with the team and everything. Am I managed? Because we could have, if we had the money, we could have just given it to a developer
true.
and said, but we don't have the money to do that, so we can't. We need to work with the developers that are being paid currently.
Yeah. But also,
to-
we need to know what we want the developer to develop.
That we would have given them the wrong
Yeah,
scope.
which means that we'd have to have like a holistic view of this is a start point, this is the end point, this is the workflow that needs to happen. Or not even to that level, that detail, but we need to know what it is we want. Have a rough idea of what happens in between, and then what the outcome is.
I do agree
Yeah,
with that.
and we
So
didn't
that
have
was
that
our
this time.
biggest, that was our biggest, we didn't know that. So, yeah. So where we are at now, it's nearly fully developed. We just have 1,000 bugs to fix, which anyone can relate.
Imagine
Oh, sorry,
exaggerating like that.
I'm exaggerating.
Rude.
we don't have 1,000 bugs. We have a few bugs to fix,
Yeah.
which ended up flipping making us. This, imagine we're learning in real time. And now we have to think about what we're using to host this thing. Is it Amazon Web Service? Guys, I'm not joking when I say this thing spiraled out of control.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But in a good way.
In a good way,
In a
yes.
good way.
Yeah, so we that's where we're at now. We're fixing the bugs. We're really just rounding it up. I've had my mentor test it, and she's pointed out a couple of things. So we're there. So by the time that it's out, by the time that this goes out, this conversation goes out, this thing is going to be perfecto. Actually, not
Beautiful.
perfect, because that's not what we're aiming for. We do believe in releasing the best product we have at that time. Perfect is along the route, which we know. Yeah, so that's where we're at, and I hope that when it goes out, people see this and love it. And like, if you're getting married, please use it.
Yeah.
It's a lovely, lovely, lovely template. It shows. It takes your client to the venue. It tells them where the venue is. It has a countdown. It tells them your story. It has a registry. It has RSVP. We've put so much into it.
Yeah.
You know, it's so simple. We've made it so easy for you to fill in your stuff, and it looks good.
And
It's
very
not that
personal.
free, and it's personal, and it's not that free one that you get online where you're just changing colors and fonts and. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
so please use that. And also things we will improve. Like in a few months' time, we're planning to release another one that takes the context of the cultures of this continent into account. Yeah. So yeah, we're looking forward to it.
Yeah. I'm excited. I'm excited
Yes.
for it to come out, and I'm excited that it's like near done.
Yeah, me too. Oh my God.
Yeah, it's been long.
It's too
been
much. Like,
it's
yeah.
been stressful because there are
Very
things
stressful.
that did not work.
Yes.
Then it was back to the drawing board, figure it out, or try and figure it out, and then that's just the iterative cycle of development, which is very frustrating sometimes, especially when time is an issue,
Yeah,
resources are an issue.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
But it's taught them a
patience
lot.
patience levels are
Yeah,
wearing thin.
that is my fault. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, but we look forward to.
We're excited
releasing
for
it.
this. We
Yeah.
hope it is well received by everyone. And
I'm thinking now, what if we release something that's a complete joke?
man,
But
that's part
better
of the
people have
process,
lived
you know?
through this. Like companies that's raised $700 million have
worse people.
created humane AI. So, then, not to be rude, I shouldn't be rude, because people put their life and soul into it, and the only mistake they make is not thinking about the people they're designing for.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's you know, let me not be rude. This journey has been hard, and our journey is this compared to humane AI. Yeah. So another thing I would love to know is if you have gone through this exact process. Better if you have gone through this exact process with your husband or your wife, please tell us in the comment section. Thank you. It could be anything, renovating a house, whatever, because that tends to be what this is.
Yeah.
So please tell us.
Yeah.
We'd love to
Managing
know.
anything together.
Please tell us.
Yeah. Tell us about your household fights as well.
No, don't do that.
It's the
We
same
just want to
thing.
relate to your stories, and I
I'm
think a lot
kidding.
of other people want to relate,
Yeah.
would love to relate to your story. So please let us know. Yeah.
100%. All right. Thank you, guys. This has been good. See us in the next episode.
Yeah. Bye.
Bye.